in black, gray and black. No cool hike today. Kind of busy. Slash, it's already late. Sunday. Pretty chill weekend so far. No hike today. Pretty chill weekend. I haven't really done a whole lot. A week. I had a long week, so I'm just taking it easy. Shout out to my dog, Noé. If you don't know, right? Get with it. Hijo de la Mala. At Hijo de la Mala on Instagram. It's a street clothing brand. I like the message behind it, right? Same thing that I do. Taking the cards that you were dealt, so to speak, in life, the life you were given, and transmuting it or working with what you've got and making it something better, right? Come from nothing to have everything, right? So shout out to my dog, Noé. Yeah, this morning I had a call with my mentor, Sovrn.Adolfo. It was real awesome. It was more of a catch-up call. I just kind of, as I go through life and I see or spot certain things in life, as I'm going through them, I sort of just get on calls with my mentors. I have two, Zach and Justin Lovato, Zach Blakely. Shout out the Codex Architect, if you know, you know. Yeah, it was just a call about what I'm going through, which is like, now that I find myself in a new part of my life, obviously certain things are unfamiliar, so I want to ensure that I navigate those with the utmost grace, love, and so I run things by him and get his perception. Yeah, I just got done training. Awesome sesh. Did some landmine work, some kettlebell swings, sit-ups on the bar, a couple rounds of the bike and jump rope. It was good. I had a good push today. I haven't really been pushing too much in the gym because I'm training jiu-jitsu now too, so trying to manage, load balance my fatigue, if you will. What am I going to talk about today? I guess I can talk about my home gym. Yeah, home gym, if you can. I would invest in some gym equipment. That's another reason why I love kettlebells, right? I started my home gym with one kettlebell, right? And I'll tell you why. Kettlebells are super diverse. You could do 1 billion exercises with one kettlebell, right? You could do swings, snatches, goblet squats, whatever. You only need one kettlebell and you only need about this much room. That's why kettlebells are the #1 tool for a home gym and the #1 gym equipment when it comes to diversity, muscles you're able to build with it, right? You can target your whole body with one kettlebell. Next is, I like doing landmine shit, right? Let me tell you, if you want a good workout, do landmines and like a swing or something. But the landmine, try and program the landmine like a compound movement, right? Like a squat. So obviously with like general like bodybuilding style training, right? You want to schedule like probably a warm-up, some sort of accessory. For me, it was always leg extensions, leg curls, right? And then I would go into the main movement, which is the squat, and then right now for that main movement, that compound movement, you want to be sure that you're overloading it weekly if possible, right? And so you want to make sure that you have all your energy to go into that movement. So you don't want to over fatigue yourself. So with the landmine, that's my best thing to do. It targets my whole body. I'm always fucking out of breath when I do it. And yeah, I've been doing a whole lot of cardio, and one of the reasons why I love cardio and why everyone should implement cardio into their session is purely for the mental health aspect of it, right? There's something about long cardio sessions that just get you in it's a meditative state, right? If you think about it, all that cardio is, or can become, if you're like present in the moment, right? Cardio could essentially become your meditation for the day. As you're sitting there, just kind of on the treadmill or however you want to do it, maybe you run. As you're sitting there, just constantly breathing, breathing, breathing. If you just take your AirPods out or don't listen to music, instead of listening to music, you could listen to like a frequency on Spotify or something, right? And so pick some sort of binaural beats, maybe a frequency on YouTube, and just do your cardio. Focus on your breathing, right? And try not to get carried away by the thoughts. Try to be purely in the moment, and let me know what you think about that. Yeah, I just started doing cardio again. I do it on the bike and I do jump rope. I really like it. I like breathing, I like sweating. And yeah, gonna do, I think that's all I'm doing today. I'm fasting all day today. On Sundays, I like to fast most of the day or the whole day if I can. Friday nights and Saturday nights, I usually have big meals, cheat meals. And so on Sunday, I just kind of give my body a chance to reset. Also, I really like it for the spiritual aspect of it. There's a mental state / state of being that comes from not eating anything, right? You feel different, you're more clean, your vessel is a lot lighter, obviously. And yeah, for me, I found it that I'm able to connect better with source, especially during breath work. And yeah, I like it as a reset. My cold plunge is broken, so I gotta figure out how to fix that. Yeah. With that, things are always gonna happen in life, right? Like my cold plunge broke, and it broke right when I went back to jiu-jitsu. So I used it for the first week and then it broke. And so if you know anything about jiu-jitsu, like recovery is very important, like every other sport, but if you don't recover properly, that's how you get injuries and stuff. So I went back and I was like, oh, everything's going great. I'm recovering perfect, right? I'm cold plunging after jiu-jitsu. I was good to go the next day. And then it broke. And so with things like that, you just kind of gotta accept them, right? And that's surrender, if you will. I'm surrendering to whatever comes my way, regardless of how I feel about it. Obviously, I don't want my cold plunge to be fucking broken, but it is. So I just kind of accept it, and I'm gonna look to try and fix it. If I can fix it, cool. And if I can't, I don't know that there's a reason why I wouldn't be able to fix it. But if there is, then that's all that really comes down to. I'm not attached to the outcome of it, and I'm not attached to feeling any sort of way about it. I guess you could call that detachment. I just call it surrendering, and surrendering with an open heart. If I was to be surrendering with that same situation, right, but I had my heart closed, then I would be more than likely way more upset about it than I am. I would probably externally be reflecting that inner frustration. And by doing that, I would probably vibrate at a state that, one, I'm not gonna like, it's not gonna fix anything, two, and then three, probably even make it more complicated. When you vibrate at a lower frequency, when you're negative all the time, you become a magnet for the type of experiences or events that you're currently vibrating at, right? So yeah, cold plunge is broken. Trying to be cool with that. If you don't know, on Wednesdays, Nirvana Mind Body Soul, we host a book club that is open to the public and the Nirvana Mind Body Soul members. And all that is just us listening to an audiobook via Zoom. So we all get on Zoom. I play a little bit of music and then everybody rolls in. We say what's up. We listen to the book for about 30 minutes. And then we discuss anything that comes up for anyone in the group, any experiences that are similar to the book, to what we just mentioned, or anything that it brings up for you, Personally, I have a lot of synchronicity, so I'm always sharing in the club. So yeah, on Wednesdays, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 Central Time. If you want to come by, let me know. On Wednesdays at 7:30 CST Central Time. Yeah, if you want to get fit in Las Vegas, let me know. I'll coach you. Come ready to work. Come ready to push hard. There's really no better feeling than having unlimited time in the gym to just do whatever you please. Like today, I took about 2 hours. Yeah, usually my workouts are relatively short. They're like 30 to 45 minutes. That's all you really need for a good full body kettlebell workout. That's another reason why kettlebell workouts are so great, because you only need a short amount of time, right? So let's say you got like 30 minutes. That's more than enough time for you to get some type of EMOM workout, and it'll tax your whole body. Versus having to do your traditional workouts, which take close to an hour, right? And you're typically only targeting 1 to 2 muscle groups. You know, talking on camera is a lot more difficult than it seems. Mainly because you're standing here talking to yourself. But just like anything in life, this is true when it comes to anything in life, whether it's fitness, careers, any sort of skill that you want to pick up. You just have to continuously do it, and eventually you will become better at it. There is nothing that you are looking to achieve that you can't achieve, period. But depending on your goal, depending on what you're seeking, and how far it is from the current frequency that you're currently at, that determines the amount of time that it will take to get there, right? So consistency is number one. If you can learn consistency, you can achieve anything in life, anything. And I think that's one of the things that I've been graced by, my mindset. Regardless of how old I was at the time, with whatever decision that I made that seems to be something less than achievable, like maybe joining the Marine Corps or getting out of the Marine Corps and joining IT without having any background in it. Whenever I made certain choices, I just always decided that I was going to do it, and I didn't let anything tell me otherwise. And for me, it just kind of came natural. I'm really strong-headed, or stubborn, some people say, which is two different sides of the coin. But yeah, the only limit is the limits we set on ourselves. There are no limits in life. There are no limits to your abundance. Only the limits we set on ourselves. Well, how am I purposely setting limits? A lot of us aren't. A lot of those limits that are set by the programming, right? So even if you're a person that thinks you don't have any limits, maybe you didn't set them, and maybe you're not even aware of them because they're subconsciously already running in your lineage, your DNA, so to speak. Yeah, so if you feel like maybe you're limited in any sort of way, try and root down, figure out what's being limited, right? And then try and figure out the root of it. Once you figure out the root of it, hold space for it. You know, why do I feel limited in this space? Oh, okay, it's because of this. This is the root. Okay, now I'm gonna hold space for it, right? And then lastly, integrate it back into you. Because until you integrate that part of you that's frozen in time, you will never truly be your full self, or your higher self, or your soul. And this is actually something that I learned from Zach. Shout out to Codex Engineer. Yeah, Zach has been one of my mentors, my second mentor ever. And the way we met was just fucking awesome, really. I went to a mushroom retreat in Texas, and just ended up being in the room with him. We talked a little bit here and there, and we had a lot of similarities, a lot of things in common. And so the mushroom retreat happened, and it was like it was now the time after the ceremony. The retreat was 3 days, 3 days of stillness, microdosing, walking meditation, sitting meditation, sauna, cold plunging, just completely submerging in the experience of stillness. And after the ceremony, I saw Zach, and I was like, "Hey, Zach," something within me told me learn more about this individual for some reason. So I approached him and I was like, "Hey, Zach, who are you?" And he looked at me crazy, and I was like, "Yeah, man." And again, this is me just talking from source, right? Because at this point, the veil was completely lifted. There was sacred geometry everywhere in the house, everywhere you looked, like that, right? And this was also, Justin also saw this. I heard it on the podcast, so I thought I was the only one that was seeing it, but no, it was everywhere, and a lot more people were also seeing it, not just me. And then we started talking, and then I ended up asking him to be my mentor, and he has been. And he's been teaching me a lot, a lot. So if you're looking for a good mentor, Zach Blakely, Sarayo on Instagram, he's an amazing person. But yeah, I think everyone should get a mentor for whatever thing you're trying to become better at. I think it's definitely a cheat code. I think sometimes, especially men, we tend to have this do-it-alone mentality. The male ego is also very fragile sometimes, right? With the whole "I don't need any help," when in reality, expressing like that means you might need some help, brother, and it's all right, because we all do. We're all just humans. We're all just spiritual beings having a human experience. Yeah, having a mentor is definitely a cheat code. I would hire one. I have hired many in my life. And it's a cheat code to life. It's a cheat code to whatever you're trying to achieve. So if you're trying to get better at whatever, get a mentor. And so when picking a mentor, right, it's important to have discernment. Never outsource your power. This is one thing that I always tell my clients. I'm not here to fix you. I don't have this super special power. Well, I do. But I don't have the ability to just switch your life around. And I also tell my clients, in reality, the aha moments or the realizations or the changes aren't going to happen when you and I sit across from each other. In reality, the change and the integration has to happen on your end in the times when we're apart. Right? So never outsource your power. You are the only one that can determine which way your life goes. So, qualities to look for in a mentor are alignment, right? Don't hire somebody that isn't an expert or practicing what you're seeking to achieve, right? Hire somebody that practices daily, right? Make sure that they are not biased. Make sure you're getting pure mentorship for what you're seeking. And never be afraid to voice when you have any discomfort with your mentors. They should be open to feedback. That's personally how my mentorship works. We just get on a call or we meet in person. I hold the space and I'm constantly asking questions to hear about what's happening with you. And along the lines, I will get a signal to maybe reflect something that happened in my life. And so I do, and then I just continue to hold the space. It's really quite beautiful how it happens. And again, in order for that to even be possible for me, I have to ensure that my vessel is able to feel those signals and to be able to carry that through. So I do that. I keep my vessel clean. I maintain my vessel by doing the stillness practices like breath work, sauna, cold plunge, but now it's broken. Working out, eating clean food, just constantly sitting in the seats of awareness. It's really quite organic, really. It's so organic. Being in alignment and the coaching that I do is so in alignment that it's almost scary, and I'll tell you why. It's so in alignment that everything just flows so beautifully that my ego gets sparked and it goes, there's no way it's this simple. And I'll tell you where that comes from. That comes from me constantly being a driven individual, right? Like I'm always striving to achieve. It's just my character. It's a fire that I have within me. That's why I love working out hard, jiu-jitsu, doing hard things. It fuels me. I have a fire within me that seeks to express in a way that is just challenging and grit. And so yeah, when it comes to life and flowing and surrendering to the divine flow of life, which is God, the ego gets triggered because because it's programmed by that, you know. But again, I just stay on my practices and I move out of the way essentially. I just sit in my modalities, right, of stillness. I remember to sit in the seat of awareness and hold space for when I get triggered. And I just move out of the way and let life's divine flow just take me to where it needs to take me. And so then when bad things happen, right, bad things, because things are only things, and then we categorize them as good or bad. So when those bad things happen to me, I just receive it, regardless of how I feel about it, right? If I feel good about it or if I feel about it, I just accept it. If I can do something about it, obviously I do. And then I just operate from the open heart. Because you could surrender to things with a closed heart, meaning you accept it, but maybe you're still a little upset about it. Maybe that guy cut you off and you accepted it, but fuck that guy, right? That's not really surrendering with love. That's surrendering with a closed heart. Surrendering truly is understanding that maybe that person is late and maybe they'll get fired if they're late, versus you. Maybe if you're late a little bit, nobody will care. Maybe you're not running late, right? So